How do you make sense of living in a world where everybody is lying to you all the time for whatever their gain is? All banks are going to say everything is going to be good because they want you to keep borrowing money. How do we survive in a world where everybody is lying to you? I don't know. Now, home prices are going up everywhere we go, but are they? This is the main question we want to ask. And let's take a look at this article. The Financial Post in Canada, it's a very well known, reputable place, but we have to be careful when people are telling us all this stuff. We are being gaslit all the time. Look at right here. Toronto home prices increase for the first time in a year. Toronto's benchmark home price rose for the first time in 11 months after the Bank of Canada paused its campaign for interest rate hikes. Woo! There is a lot to get into just in that, you guys. Okay, so they're saying two things. Home prices are surging and the interest rates have been paused. Well, let's get into that a little bit more, you guys. So if we take a look at that loaded pile of garbage that they put right there, they're telling you that home prices have gone up. They're saying it's up 8.5% from a year earlier, 5,000 transactions seasonally adjusted, even though listings were down 41%. Let's see some of their sensational numbers. They're saying Canada's home prices, it went up 1.1%. Woo! 1.09 million. Okay, in February. That's what they're stating. But are they? This is the main question, you guys. And this is why I want you to look at the source always, because if it's written by a realtor or a brokerage or the real estate board, they're generally going to say, now's the best time to buy. Come on, you guys see the same people on YouTube, on Instagram. They're saying, now's the best time to buy. Now's the best time to buy. Now's the best time to buy. This is what drives me crazy. Remember that the majority of realtors only sell one or two properties or less. So if you sell one or two a year, you're already in the bottom 60%. Remember, over half of realtors don't even sell one a year, nothing. So these guys, come on, this is how they'll defend themselves all the time. You guys, I have a client who last week had to go in, buy a home, and there was a bidding war on it. This is what you'll hear. So when somebody doesn't know and doesn't know the facts, they'll revert back and talk to you about one specific instance. Weak, okay? Weak response. You got to know the big picture. Don't talk to me about one. Just today, I had a client send me something because they were looking for a townhouse in Toronto for $300,000. This is what it's advertised for. That property is going to be going for $800,000. Why is this allowed that people can list it? Now it puts the onus back on the buyer, saying you got to know your stuff, you guys. What drives me crazy that they do this, but it's unbelievable to me. So, of course, if an $800,000 home is listed for $300,000, I bet you it's going to have a lot of activity, a lot of showings, and it's going to go over asking. Of course, right? So they're going to tell you in the newspapers, look at this. I saw something go with a lot of different offers. Okay, let's go back 2 weeks. A property was listed for 1.2 million here in Canada, in Toronto, 1.2 million, and it sold for 1,670,000. So it went almost half a million over. Okay, yeah, but last year that property was worth 3 million. Okay. So it's still down 50%, even if you took into account what it is at. So it didn't go over, even though they want to tell you, well, there was a lot of offers, a lot of activity. Guys, they deliberately did this. We can't be suckered in. Let's look at the real information. None of this foo-foo la-la information. So let's go on. This is all of Toronto. Notice this, Toronto, period. Median price homes. This is all condos, all townhomes, all everything. The average is down 25%. I'm asking you right here on this every single month, April, May, down, 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 down. Please tell me here, on average, where did the home prices go up? 845,000 from December and January. Okay, so your numbers are garbagino. They don't make sense whatsoever. Okay, let's break this down, you guys, because they're making very, very bold claims. Look at this. Detached properties, 45,000 properties sold last year. In the past 12 months, let's take a look at those numbers, you guys. Down 29% on detached properties, 1.4 million, all the way down to a million. It doesn't matter what we actually do, to be honest with you, because if we get into, let's say, condo properties, if we get into condos instead of properties, maybe that's what they mean is going up. Nope. That's also down 17%. Notice down, down, down. Did it go up in the past months? No, it did not. So more and more trouble, you guys, all the time. Let's go and look at the national statistics. That's not Toronto. This is the Canadian Real Estate Association. Well, they're coming out and saying that Canadian home sales are beginning the year at a low, 14-year low. If you go down and you look at their monthly home sales, it's abysmal, dropping like a rock. Okay. And then I want to show you another chart. Here is the benchmark prices for all the cities in Canada. Notice it'll say Oakville here, Toronto, Mississauga, Vancouver, Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley. Did you notice like it's places all over Canada? Please show me one of these colored lines that is going up. Zero. Zero, you guys. So how do you make sense of living in a world where everybody is lying to you all the time for whatever their gain is? All banks are going to say everything is going to be good because they want you to keep borrowing money. But if you go look at some other reports, maybe like Goldman Sachs or something that's doing a report, I still think that that could be tainted. My biggest advice to you is understand how this market works. I know it's more research for you. If you understand it, you can learn the skills to actually look forward. One of the best books of last year that I really enjoyed was this book by Peter Zien, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. I suggest everybody reads it because it looks forward in life. Now, I wish there was something that could tell us where we were going forward. My big clue for that is always looking at the producer index, whatever country that you live in. But where do these interest rates come from? Because this is what's dictating all of this movement. All these lines are going up to here because that's when the interest rates were going down. Then as the interest rates went up, home prices got to react and come down. This is the same way that it always goes. So where can we get that information? Remember, it's based off of the bonds. So Canada's 30-year bond is really garbage, 3.2%. And remember, that's if you lend it 30 years. If you lend it less time, 10 years, you should get less, right? Wrong. The 10-year government bond, 3.361. It's gone up. My goodness, that's crazy, right? But if you look at it over a year, look at the differences. If you look at just was in November where it was 3.4, but look at where it fell at the beginning part of this year, 2.8. Remember, 1% of interest rate changes the value of your property by 10%. So as these rates fell in these lows here, home prices had to go up by quite a bit, about 7% or so, which is exactly what is reflected in the article that said that home prices were up. So this is based because the bond price went down. If we look at the United States and look at their 10-year treasury, they also are reflecting the same thing. We could see that they were up very, very high in November. They had these drops. This was the drop near Christmas time, and then it dropped again in January. All right. So as it drops all the way low, then we see home prices go up. Look at this right here from a difference of 3.3 all the way up to 3.9. That's a big, big difference. But then if you go look at average mortgages changed by 0.9%, which moves property prices by 9%. So remember that rule. How do you survive in a world of everyone telling you lies? We got to do the work ourselves, unfortunately. And we have to make sure that we watch these rates. Remember that your mortgage rate that you get from the bank isn't decided by the country. The country decides that base rate, and then your individual bank will choose what their commission will be on top of that. And that's going to be reflected in the bond market or the treasury markets. So that is what's changing, right? The country isn't changing their rate. It's how much commission they're willing to take on top of that. And so that went down. So that's why it's very confusing when you see in the news that interest rates are going up and interest rates are going down at the same time, whereas the federal government may be raising it, but then your local bank might be shortening it. I want you guys to understand that so that you could use this to your advantage. The borrow capability of buyers is affected the exact same day that they raise rates. That rate that comes from the central bank, that one is instantaneous. And so is this amount of commission. So it's changing all the time. This is why we have to look forward at what's going to happen. If we saw the interest rates so far in Canada and the United States, they're up 4.5% so far. They're probably going to be going up another percent. But remember that 1 to 10% rule, 1% to 10%. If it goes up 5% in all, the interest rate goes up 5%, that means home prices got to go down 50. But it's not like that across the board. That's in borrowing power of new buyers. Cash buyers are going to be less affected by that. But remember, prices are always set on the margin. So we have to make sure that we remember this when we're going into this type of situation, that right today, if we look at Toronto, the prices right now are only down 25% when people's borrowing capability is down 40. But it takes time for it to show up in the market. And that's what we call lag effect. When the interest rates go up, it generally takes 12 to 18 months for that to actually change. So we're actually only in like the second period right now in hockey, or the third inning or something like that in baseball. We're only at the beginning of it. There's a lot of rate hikes and that lag has not shown its face. And that's what the Bank of Canada was counting on, that the lag will take care of it for them. Will it? I doubt it. I think that we're going to see some real big shakeups as we go into this year. Number one, when the land dries out over in Europe, that war is going to reignite. Who knows where that's going to take us? And inflation is going to be even more squeezed as less supplies are coming out. So there's going to be a very interesting 2023. Unfortunately, we see a lot of rain clouds in this year. The great thing is we're going to see buying opportunities to buy homes at pennies on the dollar that we have not seen since 2010, 11, and 12. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait to buy some things out there. Please make sure that you guys are being careful. Please be sure that you're trying to take everything that you're seeing online with maybe not just a grain of salt, but maybe an entire salt shaker. Okay. Stay safe, my friends. I'll talk to you soon.